business success. So for those of you watching not live later on, then a very warm welcome. And for those of you who are going to start watching live any second now, because it takes a few minutes to configure, then welcome to you as well. This is my very first YouTube live, actually. So I am super, super excited. And we're using some software that I haven't really used with YouTube either. So if anybody is on, I can see some people are coming on. If you could just let me know in the comments that you can see and hear me okay, then that would be just brilliant. So awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to Vicky, who's just given me a shout out saying all good. You know, when you set these things up, you're never quite sure whether you're just talking at the screen and nobody can hear you. Okay, great. I hope you're super excited for this content. I hope you've got a pen and paper handy because you're definitely going to want to be taking some notes. And I've also got a couple of exercises for you as well. So get excited as we spend this time together to really help you with moving forward with your art business. So I've got some notes down here that I'm going to follow as well. So if you see me looking down, it's not that I'm looking anything down here, just to make sure that I stay on track and deliver everything that I set out to deliver and don't miss anything. Yes, hi Jyoti, hello, lovely, here and see you, great, that's awesome. And I know that the chat is working. So obviously I'm going to encourage you as well to ask any questions and give any feedback, etc. in the chat, because I'm going to be asking things. So get ready to do that as well. Okay, so today, as we know, I'm going to share my top 3 secrets for art business success, so that you can really avoid that overwhelm, frustration, and simply just get on with making your art and making a living from that as well. And I hope that that sounds really good to you. So make sure to stay on after this training. And I want to be specific, this is a full training, but after training, I am going to just share a little bit about an online course that might be of interest to some of you and how you can really get started straight away with some of this content that I'm going to be teaching you today. But I stress it is a full training, so it's not one of those that I'm going to give you just a few things and offer you something. I've got plenty of content for you. So like I say, pen and paper to the ready. For those of you here from the very first time, my name's Sophie, and I help artists and creatives just like you to set up, market, and grow your own successful art business wrapped around your existing art practice. And if that's something that you really want to learn more about, then make sure that you've subscribed to my channel as well, because I do put out short videos every week. So make sure that you're ready and getting those as well. Good morning. Hello, Sarah. Hello, hello, hello. It's so funny because I'm in the UK and obviously I'm not normally broadcasting from the UK. I'm normally broadcasting from the other side of the world. So I think a few people were confused about the time as well. They were like, well, I can't be up at that time. And it's like, no, I'm actually in the UK at the moment. So super excited to be here. Very excited to be doing that training from here as well. And thank you. And a big shout out to my lovely friend, Sarah Bellarini, who has loaned me her flat this morning to shoot this video from as well. Okay, so let's get straight to the content. So like I said, make sure you got pen and paper handy because I have got a couple of exercises for you. So secret number 1, we need to get clear on what you want. And you might say, yeah, Sophie, heard that before. But just hold on a minute. All right, this is one of the biggest mistakes I see artists making. And that's not taking enough time to get really, really crystal clear on what you actually want and outlining a really clear vision for your future. So not doing this really means that you can end up drifting, you can get distracted, you can go down some rabbit hole somewhere, you can follow a new shiny object. Who's ever done that? You suddenly you've heard of something and you think, oh my God, that would be amazing. I'm totally going to do that now. And you go off down there and you disappear down a track you never really wanted to go down in the first place. And, you know, all of this can mean that you can end up feeling a bit frustrated. You can lose motivation and ultimately you could put down and quit your art. And I don't want that for you. And I'm pretty sure that you don't want that for you either. So in order to not do that, we want to make sure that we're going to get a crystal clear vision. So this is what I typically hear. I say to people, well, what do you want? And they say, I want to sell more art. Okay, I want to make more money. I want to make a living from my art. And I think, well, what does that actually mean? Are you clear? Because I'm really not. When somebody says to me, and this is what I hear a lot of, oh, I just want to sell more paintings, Sophie. So if you sold one more, does that mean you've achieved what you want? Is that what you want for your big vision, your future? Like, what do you want to create? What do you want to leave as a legacy? Your art, you might want to actually really say something and you want to leave a legacy behind. So we want to get really crystal clear on what it is you want. So if you want to make more money, I'm going to give you $5 or £5 and you've instantly made more money. Is that it? I don't think so. How much money? How many paintings? How many online courses? How many workshop attendees? What's the income you want to be making? Do you want to leave your job if you still have a job? What are you doing exactly? Selling what to whom, where? So really, when people say I want to make more money, I feel like this is more of a starting statement and it absolutely lacks clarity. Would you agree? Now, if there's anyone here who's gone, that was me, because I always start with everybody, well, what do you want? Oh, I want to, I want to paint for a living. What does that mean exactly? So the very, very, very first thing we've got to do is gain clarity. Now, for me, clarity gives you purpose and motivation to take action. If you don't have clarity, you're just sort of messing around. You're over here a little bit, you're over there a little bit. And sometimes I hear people saying, I just haven't got time to sit down and do that. I need to make the money. It's like, well, just take a breath for a moment and step back, because you can't do any of what I'm about to teach you next if you don't have this piece. If you don't know where you're going, how are you ever going to know how to get there, right? If you don't have a clear destination, then really you get up in the morning and you just see what happens. And life is going to happen to you rather than you determining how you want your life to be. So we want to make sure, in order that you get that you want to have a big vision that's 100% crystal clear of what you want, but also what you don't want. Because how many of us end up having a day where you think at the end of it, well, that wasn't what I really wanted to do? Or, you get offered something and you think, oh, it's got to be a yes. Somebody's offered me the opportunity to do something. I'll do that. And at the end of it, you think, that wasn't something I wanted to do with my art. That's not a direction I wanted to go. And at that point, you're just being led, or you're being, again, it's a shiny object. You think, oh, I'll make some money doing that. Somebody said I could run children's workshops. I'll go over there and run children's workshops. But actually, I'm not a teacher, or if I am a teacher, I like working with adults. It's not something I want to do. But we've been sort of given the idea that we could make some money, so we go off in a whole other direction. And if it's not your big vision, it's not your passion, it's not what lights you up, then the rest of it's going to be hard slog, right? So we've got to get crystal clear on what you want and leave aside what you don't want. It's like that Marmite effect, right? It's, like the divide. So what's the reason that most artists don't do this? If you are on the call and you haven't done this before and you're like, I haven't really sat down and really got to the nub of what I want to, why have you not done it? And like, for a lot of people, they say, oh, I haven't got the time to do it. And I'm thinking, you haven't got the time to create the vision and clarity of where you want to go? You need to carve out the time, right? That's super important. Like, that's not a valid reason or excuse. For me, I believe that the number one reason that people don't do it is fear. That's the big F word, right? Fear. Fear of failure. What if I write out this big vision of what I want and I fail at it? Like, who here would agree that we do not want to fail, right? Failing is not a good thing. Put in the comments if you don't want to fail. It's like, I don't want to fail. If that's a no, don't want to fail, just let me know that, because some people are afraid of that. So therefore they don't step into what they really could be doing with the art and with the art business, because the fear of failure is too much. It stops you moving forwards. But on the flip side, we've also got fear of success. What if you do create a multi-6-figure or 7-figure art business? Suddenly you might have to manage a team. You might have to deal with more customers than you were used to, right? That can bring up fear. So we sometimes stay in that comfort zone of, oh, I don't want to do that. What if I get too successful and I have to do things I'm not used to doing? So I'll just stay really small, right? Don't want to fail, Cindy. Absolutely. So we do all these things in order not to fail, right? We stay safe. We stay small. We don't play the bigger game. Yes, Eleanor agreed. 100% fear of failure. Thank you. It's just human nature, right? We're built that way. None of us want to fail. None of us want to fail. So therefore we say, okay, well, this is what I think I could do. This is my big vision. My big vision is to do this. But actually, probably your big vision is to do something this size that might even feel a bit scary when you think about it, might make your heart pounding, like, oh my God, the palms sweating. And for me, that's a good sign. If you have a vision that really lights you up, that is really exciting, you really want to change the world with your art, with your course, with the book, you've got a purpose, you've got a drive. But of course, there's the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. And that's huge. And in that gap, we don't know what's going to happen, right? And so most people are held back by, well, I don't know how to do that. So therefore, I won't write that down. I've got the fear of failure. What if I don't make it? Or what if I do make it? But whatever it is, it's fear, right? I think we're all agreed on that. It's fear of whatever. So we stay small. So I'm going to encourage you today to really think big, because I can promise you, when you found the vision and that kind of mission and purpose, and it's crystal clear and it's big enough, it lights you up, it makes you excited. That is what's going to motivate you to move forward and do the things that might be a bit uncomfortable. So imagine this for a moment. You have a vision of your future that is so clear that when you close your eyes, you can see every detail. It's as if you've drawn a detailed, realistic picture, right? It's so clear. You see everything in there. So imagine you jump out, I don't know, a year, 5 year, 10 years. It's completely up to you. You close your eyes and you look at what you've achieved, and you can see everything. You can step into that picture and you can see it. You can smell the smells of where you are, the smell of the ocean or whatever that might be. You can hear the sounds that are around you, and you feel, wow, this is what I wanted to create. This feels really good. That's how your big vision needs to be, all right? It needs to be that clear that it's like someone took a photo, or you've done a detailed, realistic picture, and you can see it, hear it, smell it. It's that good. And if you haven't got there, then you want to be working on that. All right. So we want to know, for example, practically, how much money do you want to make? This is such a big question. I ask this, people avoid this. It's like, well, I don't know. Money doesn't motivate me. It doesn't need to motivate you. But in order to get somewhere, you need to know tangibly what you're looking at, right? We're talking about building an art business. So in order to build a business, we need to know how much money you want to make, right? I'm sorry, folks. For all of those who are like, I don't want to think about money. Money doesn't motivate me either. But it's still a tracking device, right? It's a number that you can write down that you can then do other things with, and then you can move forward to build the business around. But without knowing that, then again, you're kind of punting in the dark. All right, selling what? Are you selling right now what you really want to be selling? Or have you got that book or that big retreat that you've always wanted to put together, or a series of artwork or designs that you sort of has been in the back of your mind and you're thinking, well, I'll do that when ... Who's got a I'll do that when project? I'll make the art I've always wanted to make when I have enough money, when I have enough time. All right, what else? Who has got a project that they're putting off until you do ... Once I've left my job, I can do this, that, and the other. Now, I came out of full-time teaching, so I totally understand. I had a full-time job. I went down to part-time, and I built my business alongside. I didn't wait. I just got on with it. So, it's really important that we don't put off things that you want to do. We've got this life. We're here to do what we're born to do. And if that for you is creating, you want to make sure that the time you're putting in now is doing the thing you really want to do. So if you're playing it small, you're creating something that you think, oh, this might sell. Who is doing that? If there's anybody watching who's just creating stuff that you think, well, that'll sell, so I'll make some money doing that. Get another income stream, get a job while you're building the business. Don't sacrifice your art and creativity. Make sure what you're creating is what you want to be doing. All right, when you let fear stand in the way, it's stifling your creativity. I'm just going to say that again. When you let fear stand in your way, it's stifling your creativity. So when you think about your big vision of where you could go and you allow fear to get in there, then you're not going to be as creative as you really want to be. You're not going to be doing the work that you really want to be. So who here can resonate with that? Just let me know in the comments if you're like, yeah, I totally get that. That's been me. I'm just going to have a slug of the old water. It can stop you moving forwards with anything, all right? Here's a mini exercise. So grab a pen and paper that I asked you to bring at the beginning, or whatever you've got around you, or if you've got a phone or something, you can write it down. It's really good to write by hand, of course. It's much better than typing, but grab whatever you've got around you. So the mini exercise is just take a few minutes to write out some bullets of what you really want to achieve. Totally. Yeah, thank you. So this is what we're going to do. You're just going to write out and you're going to think, after I've been talking, and I'm going to give some hints. So we want to just jot down some basics of what you really, really want to achieve. So let's start with turnover. We're talking about building a successful art business. We've got to start with the turnover. What do you really want to bring in on your art business? All right. So for example, is it 30,000, 60,000, 100,000, 500,000, a million? What do you actually want to bring in? And we're not saying you have to bring that in right now or in the next 6 months, but what's the big picture vision? Where do you want to be going with the art business? So write down a number. Paying yourself a salary of what? Again, you're 500 a month, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000. What is it for you? So just go ahead and write that down. What's the ideal salary you want to be paying yourself? If you don't just choose these numbers, then again, it's like you're never going to get there. You need to have a stake in the ground where you can go, okay, this is what I'm heading towards, because we're going to talk strategy later. How are you going to get there? So then selling what? So just put some ideas down of what do you really want to be selling? What is it that really lights you up? And if you're watching later and this is not the live version, pause the video and just do this exercise for 5 minutes. What do you want to turn over? What's the salary that you would like to pay yourself every month from that business? What do you actually want to be selling? Do you want to create original work that's sold in a big gallery somewhere? Do you want to create print on demand, patterns? You want to get published all over different products? You want to have your patterns hanging on curtains? Like, what do you want to create? You want to run workshops? You want to have some fabulous online course that you open every year and it gives you 7 figures. You want to run retreats in the Italian hills somewhere. What is it you want to do? For example, do you want people with you? You want to build a small team? You want to have people that working for you who just want to work alone? Do you want a business partner, a silent business partner? Do you want a studio, a shop? You know, do you want to be able to work and travel around the world? Do you want to be flexible and free? What is it you really want? How many days a week do you want to work? Do you want to work 4 days a week? You just want to work mornings only? You want to work weekends? What do you actually want to work? How many hours a week? I know so many people who say, well, I just work 4 hours a day. That doesn't happen overnight, but it happens when there's a plan in place, right? When you have a big vision and you're heading towards something, you say, okay, my plan. See, for me, I want to work 4 days a week. I want to have 3 days doing my own thing and 4 days. And I'm almost at that. And quite often I'll take a Monday off, as some of you know, and I'll pootle around and I'll not really do anything on a Monday, or I'll end early on a Friday. So I'm working towards that for me to be in that place where I can just work 4 days a week. Okay, maybe you want to do things like put exercise into your day, and you're going to exercise for 2 hours a day. What is it for you? What is it you want to create? So I say, if you're doing this live, I'm hoping you're scribbling in your notepad. Just give me a yes if you're doing that. And if you're watching it later, pause the video, do the exercise, and then come back again afterwards. The key point is you want to gain clarity. If there's any doubt in your mind, you haven't completed the exercise. If it's all a bit fuzzy when you think about it, your future, and I say, pick a time that works for you. Could be 5 years, could be 10 years, could be 1 year. It's up to you. You say, okay, this is what I want to achieve. If you're sort of sitting there thinking, oh, I'm not really sure about that, keep going until you've got the clarity. Yes, scribbling. Love it, Jyoti. You're amazing. So here's one last question to think about in this section. And I love this. And I've worked this question with some members. We have an online membership, and I asked this question to the people on the membership. And I love this. This is a classic coaching question, but it really opens up possibility. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? I'll say that again. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? See, again, we know that we're held back by fear of this, fear of that, fear of the other. So we play small. I don't want for you to play small. I want for you to do what you really love with your creativity. And I would love it this year to be the year that you step into it, grab it by the whatsits, and just go for it. All right. Of course, there are always challenges on the way to everything. That naturally happens. But again, we're going to talk about how to overcome that as we carry on with the training. So I'm hoping that you've got that. Yes, Elena says yes. Great. I'm loving it. Awesome. All right. So that's really secret number one. Let us move to secret number two. So secret number two, of course, is to create a plan to get you there. All right. So you need to get clear on the destination. You need a map to get you there, a step-by-step plan that's going to get you there. Otherwise, you're going to get lost. And that little side street down there and that shiny object is going to come calling again. So when your vision is clear, like we said, and it really lights you up, then it's time to get planning. Now, don't zone out. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm an artist. I don't want to plan. I don't want to plan anything. And here's the thing. I'm talking at this point about your artist's business plan. And if you're already subscribed to this channel, you know I talk about that a lot, all right? So you might hate this term, so call it something else, right? You don't need to call it a business plan because it might conjure up doorstepping documents. Listen, when I very first started out as a professional artist, I went and got some mentoring. And the guy I saw gave me the door stopper, right? He printed it out and it was like that. He said, oh, first thing you need to do is get a business plan. And it was tiny, like 10-point font or something. And I went home and I'm not kidding. I burst into tears because I didn't understand the jargon that was used. I didn't understand the pie charts. I didn't understand how that document was relevant to me as a painter. Who here resonates and understands with that? Have you ever seen or been given a business plan document that just makes you want to cry because you're like, I just don't see how that's relevant to me? How does that work as an artist, right? All of this stuff just looks like, this is not for me. So I really didn't like the term either. So maybe you call it a mini blueprint or a mind map, or it's maybe going to be, your future path or whatever it is that you call it. We just basically want to get the plan onto paper. I'm an old-fashioned girl, although, I do have all the kit. Resonates so much. Oh, I'm so pleased, Eleanor. That's so cool. So I'm really a believer in writing stuff first. It really does get the neural pathways going, and it does really get you in a much better state when you write. But at the end of the day, if we're trying to keep the paper down, then we also like to have things online as well. So however you do it, it doesn't matter. We just want to get it done. So create a different word, come up with your own word for what we would understand as a business plan. Then we use that. All right, so here's some things that I'm going to talk about that go in the plan. Now, again, if you're on the channel, you might have seen other videos, and I'll signpost those below here as well. But basically, I tend to put a plan into 7 sections. So, for example, in this plan, we're going to need to decide on some of the following, like mind mapping. See, Jyoti, that's the thing, isn't it? Mind mapping is great because I'd like to take a giant sheet of paper and colored pens, and then you can mind map out, and all the different pieces of your plan can be on the mind map, and then you can put that up on the wall so that you've got it in your creative space and you're constantly looking at it, right? So I think, a mind map is a really good way of doing this as well. All right, so in the first section of your plan, we're really looking again at the bit we've just done in the previous secret, right? The first secret was about having that vision and that and seeing and getting clarity on it. So it's all about clarifying what you want. How much money do you want to be making? What is your vision, mission, purpose? What values are you going to use? So it's all about that vision piece that we've been talking about. And in the second section, we're really looking at products, essentially. Well, what do you want to be selling? Well, we've also talked a bit about that. Products, services, both. What exactly? And then we're using something like we have a foolproof I'm trying to say that separately. Foolproof pricing formula. When I very first did a training on that a while back, I struggled with saying that. Foolproof pricing formula. I've no idea why I struggled, but I did. That's me. So you want to be able to price your items for profit, because is there anyone here who struggles a little bit with pricing their items, right? We create something, we birth something, we write the book, we make the course, we put on the workshop, we create the products. Now we have all these beautiful things. Now suddenly we have to put a price tag on them. And that again can bring up the mindset stuff. It can bring up the fear. What if somebody doesn't want to pay that amount for my product? That's a whole other conversation for another training. But we need a special formula that's going to enable you to come up with the perfect price that will put you into profit and will work for both yourself and your customer. And so we call that a foolproof pricing formula. So within then the next step we're looking at is audience. So who do you want to sell your products and services to? And yes, you have a choice, right? You have a choice of exactly who your target audience are going to be. Who's that ideal customer? You know, that perfect person who comes along and says, oh, I love that. I must have it. Let me have it immediately. Here's some money. You know, who is that perfect customer? We want to make sure that we can keep them in mind at all times. So when we're doing our marketing, when we're doing our selling, everything that we're doing, we need to be really clear who that person is. And part of this plan is enabling you to find out just that. Then there's the research bit. This is the bit so many creatives give up on. And this piece is critical, right? It might be fun to do some of the other bits. It's like, oh, yes, what am I going to be selling? I know I can sell this. Let's do the pricing formula. And I've got some prices. I can do the vision mission thing. I can do all of this stuff. Now, suddenly it's like, oh, research. Okay, I don't want to do research. I'll go back to the studio. And I know so many people give up on this. But actually, it's probably the most dull part. But it's the critical, most important part to your art business. You might say the marketing and sales and finances, surely, Sophie. And I'm going to say yes, but I think second only to this piece. Looking at your competitors, definitely, but also looking at your strengths and weaknesses and finding the gaps and how to plug those gaps. What are you good at? What are you not so good at? Because the pieces we're not so good at don't get done inevitably. And that can be a real hole. That can be like having holes in the bucket of your art business. So imagine you've got this bucket with all these possibility for your business, but there's some holes over there. There's a crack at the bottom of the bucket and you put the water in, it's all just draining out. Until you can plug the holes in that bucket and keep your business whole and filling up, then you've got a problem, right? If you've got, anyone knows who's living in an old building in the UK and you've got leakage happening, it's not good. So we need to find strengths and weaknesses. We want to look at our competitors. Supposing you're living in a town and you just want to sell locally and you've got this thing that you do that essentially you can't see anyone else particularly doing it. And then you do some research and discover that actually somebody just moved into the area who's offering exactly what you offer, that they offer something more on top and people are going over there. Right, we've got to stay on top of who else is doing what we're doing. A, we might be able to collaborate with them, which is brilliant. But B, we need to be able to make sure that we can offer something unique for our customers. So this is the most important part of this area, and that is how can you stand out from the crowd? So let's imagine you want to sell online for a minute. How many billion people? I did see that number. So something like 5.6 billion searches on Google a day, or is it something like that? A ridiculous number of people are online. So imagine people that want to buy art or art courses, they want to learn something, people who are looking for things online. There are millions of people looking, and there are thousands and thousands of artists who are offering something probably like you're offering, right? Why not? There's only so much that we can create. We're going to have people who are offering what we're offering. How do you stand out? By going through this planning process, one of the key pieces in the research section is working out what makes you unique. How can you stand out and make that clear as well, so that when your customer comes along, they go, oh, that's exactly what I want. You're doing exactly what I want. That's brilliant. I'll have it. Thank you. Because when we try to appeal to everybody, we please, anybody can buy what I have. when it comes to the marketing section, you're going to drown, right? You don't have enough time or money to try and market globally to anyone and everybody, hoping somebody might buy. You need to be really clear. You want to have a niche, and you want to be making sure that you're doing something that sets you apart from other people. Going through the planning process is going to enable you to find that thing. Then the next bit is kind of, how do you want to run your business from day to day? So do you want to do it like I'm doing it, from a laptop the other side of the world, or a tropical island somewhere or something? By the way, that looks great on the photos, but I remember many, many years ago, so my vision, of course, was to live somewhere warm, tick, was to be creative, tick, was to work and inspire other people to do the same thing, tick, all of those things. But I had this vision, I'm going to work from the beach. That was my initial, I'm going to work from the beach. And when I got there, it's like, well, it's sandy, it's tropical, so I'm sweating. The sun is on it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. So you got to think about, how do you want to run your business day to day? Again, is it just you? Is it a team? Do you want your own studio? Do you want to be working online? Or you hate computers? I mean, you're here, so thank you. You might hate computers. Actually, I just want a physical business. I want to run out of my own little studio and do my own thing and have kind of like a micro business. All of these things are possible. You can do any of it, so long as you're really clear and you have this really good step-by-step plan that you've ironed out any possible, any things that might work, might not work. So part of that research, obviously, as well, is threats and challenges, because none of us could have worked out the pandemic was coming along, right? And everybody who had a physical business suddenly lost their business overnight. But people who had an online business, it started booming because everybody was online. But if you'd got a business plan, you would have had a plan B, a backup. What happens if something goes wrong in the threat area? You'd have had an answer for that. So we had an answer for that. Get online with a membership. It was like, there it was, sitting right there. So having this plan is critical. What about the sales and marketing piece? This is the piece that most people get excited about. It's like, oh, I'm going to build a business plan. How am I going to sell things? Right? How are you going to reach the people that you want to sell to? This is something, these are questions I get asked every single day. What marketing should I be doing? How do I get in front of my customer? And then this is going through the plan you're going to work out. Well, this is my customer. Well, then maybe these are the marketing strategies I'm going to be choosing. Which things are going to work? What strategy is going to work best for you and your audience? Where are you going to find them? What sales platform are you going to use? Somebody the day wrote under one of my videos, oh my goodness me, I never even thought about working out where my customer was before choosing the sales platform I'm using. Well, because what can happen is you put your work up on a platform over here and your audience is still looking for something over here. They're going, well, can't find, and you're going, hello, I'm over here. But if you did your research and you'd gone through a plan, you'd have worked out that your audience is here and you'd have placed your shop right there in front of your audience. Marketing terrifies me. Yeah, again, back in the day when I very first left my job, the just over broke thing, and I stepped into the world of being an entrepreneur, somebody said, oh, yes, marketing. And I said, oh, excuse me? I didn't even know what the term meant. All right. And I remember going to my very first marketing and sales workshop, and I resonate with you. It terrified me too. And I sat there, notes, and I just thought, this is horrible. I don't like this very much. But over the years, I learned to love it. And I learned to realize that actually, as artists, we can be really, really good at marketing. We've just got to pick the strategies that are going to work for us and our customers. We want to get a little bit of knowledge about how to do them. But a lot of them these days involve being creative. They involve writing, or they involve making videos, or they involve creating images. Isn't that wonderful that we get to use our skills with marketing? We just, there's definitely a few things to be learned. I have lots of videos on marketing on this channel as well. And of course, it's a mindset thing, isn't it? It's, once we understand a bit about it, we feel better about it. And once we feel better about it, the confidence starts to go, then we'll start to have better results. When you first start out, it's a bit like, it's like all things, isn't it? But honestly, I promise you, the more that you do it, the more you learn about it, the better you get, the confidence grows. It happens, not necessarily overnight, but it 100% will happen. Okay, and then the last bit, of course, is the money. The lovely money, the money that people say to me, I'm not motivated by money, but I'm sure you like it coming in your bank account. All right, so tracking the money, what comes in, what goes out, your expenses, and how does that achieve the money goal that you set at the very beginning? So, without solidifying all this information, you're basically flushing your money and your time down the drain. And I'm pretty sure that none of you want to do that. I know certainly I didn't want to do that. So, one of the most critical elements of having a business plan and why we also update it every year is because we set out first off, how much money do I want to make? And then, of course, we plan the exact ways that we're going to create it. So I've got a very simple example, and there's an exercise coming up. You'll be pleased to know. That's right, it's really simple. So if you have access to a calculator, that would be great. Otherwise, you can, again, if you're watching later, then you can just pause it and do it that way. So here's the super, and I want to say this is, I want to stress this. This is super, super simple, but it's the basic fundamental that I teach all the time. So this example says we're going to start off with a turnover figure. And so just to be clear, that's not the profit. So the profit is what's left once you've taken all your expenses out. So the turnover is everything that's come into the business. So we normally start with that figure as in a plan because it's easier to start that way. So we're going to pick the annual turnover figure like we did back in the vision. And we're going to say, okay, for this example, maybe let's go with 60,000. Really easy to divide. So then you say, okay, now I'm going to take my main product, say 30 by 30 inch paintings, canvases, paintings on canvas. And for example, let's say the average price point of that is typically $1,500, pounds, euros, whatever currency you work in. So your question is, how many would you need to sell in a year to make your turnover goal? So in this example, of course, it's 40. Now you might say, so this is the scenario, isn't it? I remember the first time I learned this. You might say, oh, that's great. I actually work really small and I churn out about 40 in a month. So that's not a problem. Or actually, it takes me a really long time to create that 30 by 30. To sell 40 in a year would be really tough because I don't know if I can even paint 40 in a year. So this is where reality, this is your place where reality will happen, where you look at it and you go, okay, something's got to change, right? If I can't get to a place where I can even paint 40, let alone sell 40, then something's got to give. So either my price has to go up or I've got to introduce one or two more income streams. And this is the point of the plan, isn't it? If you don't know that and you simply start painting 30 by 30 canvases and then finding places to sell them, at the end of a few months' time, you're looking and going, oh, I've made a bit of money, but oh gosh, actually my outgoings are out and I'm nowhere near where I wanted to be. You need to really get the reality. And sometimes the reality can be not very great, right? You go, I'm going to make $200,000 and I've got this product to sell. And suddenly you discover you need to sell thousands and thousands of them. And you start to feel that fear. It's like, how am I going to do that? So we want to make sure in the plan that there's an element of reality, like I can actually physically make that. Or I can take the time to create that online course. Now, I know we've got Jyoti who's launching her course right at the moment. So you're going to know exactly how much time and energy it's taken putting into a course and launching a course. So, we've got to be realistic when we look at it. So you might look at that original figure and say, okay, what if I sold 2 or 3 different items, and then you can split the money down and you can say, okay, this proportion on my paintings, this proportion on a course, this proportion on prints, for example. And then when you do that, maybe you start to go, okay, this is more manageable. I can do this. And this is essentially how you start the plan. This is what underpins anything. All right, over to you. The second exercise, grab your pen and paper. And I'd love for you to pick that annual figure that you already put back in the vision. Write it down. Pick a key product that you've either got or you've decided that you would like to have. And then divide that into your turnover and work out how many you'd need to sell in a year if you just sold that one item. So as I say, it's a super simple calculation. Then you can look at that and go, okay, yeah, no, that's probably doable. Or you look at it and go, I can't create that number of things. So do that little exercise. And I say, if you're watching back later, pause the video and do it. And if you're doing it live, you're just going to have to whip the calculator out. All right, I'm working on an oil painting piece quite different from others in the market. Awesome. How do I find its best possible price and the kind of client that would pay for it? My work is so far unlike this one. Oh, so my work is so far unlike this one. So the stuff you've done before is different to this one already. So you're saying you're creating a different kind of product, basically, from what you've currently been doing. I mean, listen, I still advocate our pricing formula, and I do have another video to that as well, which I'll link under this one. But at the end of the day, you want to go through that formula because it takes you through 6 steps. That means you can price anything, but we still want to know who that audience is. So the steps in the business plan will take you through all of it. See, this is a struggle, isn't it? You can't really do one piece without the other. You need the audience. You need to know kind of where they are. You've got to have worked out a price point that works for you and the way that you're going to be selling the item. So if you know that you want to sell via a gallery and you know that your ideal audience shops in galleries, then you're likely going to need to chop out 40-50%. For example. So you want to use our pricing formula. So definitely check out that other video or hang on to the end because it's all solved in the course as well. No worries. Awesome. All right. So once you've done that exercise, that's the end of the second secret. So the third secret, drum roll, is constantly be working on your mindset. All right. And this is the piece that I think a lot of people know that they should be doing, but don't do. And then wonder why sometimes they're not always getting the results that they want. So now you've clarified your vision, you know where you want to go. You're like, this is what I want. Here's my big vision. This is where I want to go. And you started to map out a plan of how you're going to get there using an artist business plan. The final secret is the mindset piece. You want to be constantly working on your positive mindset so that you can execute the plan, right, with ease. Because let's face it, it's fun doing the vision, right? You're writing out, this is my vision, this is what I want, this is lovely. You might have a little bit of that F word fitting in, the old fear word, but it's enjoyable writing the vision. It can be satisfying building out your artist business plan. You're like, look, I have this mind map. I have this document, this blueprint. I have this lovely thing. Here's my vision of what I want. Here's the plan that's going to get me there. Now what? Okay, it can all crumble when you get to now putting the plan into action. Because of course that plan, whether it's mind map or written, however it's done, is a working document that you want to follow day in, day out, because you want to achieve the goal and get to the big vision, right? I'm assuming you all do. So we want to remember things like what we focus on expands. So if we focus on success and ease, we get more of that. But of course, if we focus on the other, we'll get the other as well. We're not even talking about that. So one way to keep yourself in a positive zone is, of course, to surround yourself with other artists and creatives who are on the same journey, who want the same things and can help bolster you up, right? So if you're part of an artist community and you're all working towards a big vision, and you can all kind of, support yourself as you move forward. Another way is to be learning. And I'm not talking about shelf help, the endless courses we all buy, we've all done it, and never take. I'm talking about really, having that intention to learn something new every week or every month so that we're constantly expanding. So if you have a fear of marketing, it's like, well, I need to learn a bit about marketing. So this month I'm going to learn about, email marketing. And now suddenly I feel more confident because I've gained a bit more knowledge. So I think we want to be doing that as well. And that all helps, because the more knowledge you have, the more confidence you have with doing something, the better you feel, the more you'll do or more of it, right? So it's all expanding the positive mindset. So, and of course, you're going to have down days. You're going to have days where it doesn't work, because at the end of the day, building an art business, or any business for that matter, isn't a nice, smooth, upward line, right? Life is not like that. It does this, whoa, and then it goes, yeah, that didn't work. And then it goes, oh, okay, this is really good. I've tried something. I had an exhibition that tanked. You have to be able to say, okay, that was one thing. Up I go again. Oh, that's working. Oh, that didn't work. So it goes like that. All right. And this is about having that mindset and belief to know that it's not a straight line straight up to the big vision, right? It's going to wobble, but overall it's going to go up. And mindset is going to help you stay on track. You've the plan, you've where you want to go. There it is. It's crystal clear. I can see it. I can smell it. I can imagine it. I can see myself there. Now I have the roadmap that's going to get me there. I just need to follow it. And I need to stay in a kind of positive, upbeat mindset so that I execute that plan on a day-by-day basis. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that you're kind of like, okay, I'm getting it. So it's sort of, the big picture is pretty simple, right? Of course, it comes down to action. So just remember that when you're happy and in flow, you're unstoppable. So keeping in that positive mindset and doing things to keep yourself positive and enable you to move forward much faster. So there you have it. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, absolutely. So there you have it. The 3 key secrets, or the 3 top secrets to art business success. Number 1, you want to get clear on what you want. So make sure you do that exercise and really keep going until you've got clarity. Right. Number 2, you want to create the plan to get you there. So you want to put together your own artist business plan that says, I want to get here. This is how I'm going to do it. This maps out how I'm going to do it. And secret number 3, you want to keep moving and working on your mindset. Because, in my experience, business success is 80% mindset and 20% strategies. And the number of people that say to me, what hashtag should I use on Instagram, Sophie? What header should I put in my email? None of this stuff is relevant if you don't believe that you're going to succeed, right? If you're not staying in that positive, I've got this, I'm on it, I'm doing it. The mindset is critical to your success. So you want to be working on that. Okay, so let's talk about next steps. At this point, you might be thinking, that all sounds great, Sophie, but how do I get this fabulous sounding artist business plan, including the help with the vision and, of course, putting the plan into action so that I can make the money that I want to, so that I can hit that goal? I'm so glad you asked. So at this point, if it's okay with you, I'm going to just talk a little bit about that course that I mentioned, because it might be relevant for some people. Other people will be like, nah, don't need it. That's fine. But for those of you who are like, I really would like a bit of help at this point, then hang in there. I'm just going to talk you through the course and how you can get your hands on it if it's something you would like. Okay, so these 3 secrets, it took me years to actually figure out. I learned early on, of course, having a clear vision of what I wanted. I wanted to travel. I wanted to live somewhere warm. I wanted to be always summer. I wanted to paint and coach and help creatives in business, and I'm doing that. And then for me, the secret number 3 came along. That was the mindset. And I want to say thank you to a million personal development courses and training and mentors that I've had over the years. But see, I knew that piece was really important. So I had the vision and I had the mindset, but it really took me a while to actually crack the business planning part, because I'm sure you've heard, if you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. I hate that quote because it's like, yeah, it's so real, right? Or no business plan, no business. That's what one of my mentors said to me. No business plan, no business. And then I had all the stats thrown at me, the number of people that went out of business in the first 2 years of business, and the 2 reasons for businesses failing. Number 1, a lack of cash flow, and number 1, a lack of business plan. So I think it was drummed into me at an early on, that it was like, this was vital. But it wasn't until I created my own artist business plan that it was like, oh, it doesn't have to be the door-stopping document. It actually can be quite fun and easier to do. So luckily, I've put all this knowledge into an online course called Build Your Artist Business Plan. It's a simple 7-step online course that will literally walk you through filling out the artist business plan. And you can do it in 7 days or less. And actually, you can listen to it in just 3 hours. So you can do it really quickly if you want to. But we sort of suggest that you listen to a module and do the stuff maybe for an hour, and you just do it over a week, because it's less impacting and you've got time to think about it as you go forwards. So Build Your Artist Business Plan is the only online training that I know of that not only gives you easy to follow steps to structure that business plan, but also provides you with the possibility to design a highly successful, profitable art business doing what you love. So what's inside the course? I hear you say there's 7 modules plus a bonus module. So they're going to mirror exactly what I taught you earlier in the secret number 2. So module number 1 is all about the big picture. So we're talking all about how to come up with that turnover figure, the vision, mission, purpose, your values, what's important to you. All of that good stuff is in module 1. Module 2, we're going into that research. Remember how I said that was the most critical part of the plan? You know, what makes you different? How do you stand out? All of these good things. You're going to have another module on finances. You're going to have a module on the products and services. What do you offer? What's the price point, the audience, the business model, the sales and marketing, all of the different things that I've talked about today. So you'll figure out what you want to sell, the price point that you want to sell it. You're going to figure out that audience. Who is it that you actually want to sell and how to get in front of them? You're going to figure out the business model. How do you actually want to run your business? That research. How can you set yourself apart from everybody else who seems to be doing what you're doing? Then how can you do, of course, the sales and marketing piece? What are the right marketing strategies for you and to get you in front of that audience? And how are you going to do that? How often are you going to do it? All those good things. And sales, we haven't even talked about that. What's a great sales strategy? How do you actually get somebody from liking what you want across the line? You'll make these decisions in this plan. And then there's a bonus module that pulls it all together and uses a quarterly planning technique that I just love and makes life so simple for us creatives. Because sure, in the plan, you're going to be writing. You can put it out on a mind map, but this last pulling it together module is probably my favorite module because you use a simple sheet of paper or a whiteboard or whatever you want. And you're going to end up dividing your year into quarters and you get some even more feet on the ground reality. And the number of people that have ahas at this module is massive. It's like, oh my goodness me. Okay, this is great. Now, actually, I can see how this all works and I can make a plan that works for me. So this whole course has a value of just under $1,000. There's so much content in there, but it's taught in really short, sharp videos, somewhere around the 3-5 minute videos, so that you can just do it quickly and easy and you can get into the action and doing of your plan. So by the end of this course, by the time you've taken the course, which I say you can do, like you can Netflix it in 3 hours, or you can just do like a module a day, especially if you're still working or doing something else, you can fit it in amongst. So by the end of the course, you'll have saved hours of your time wondering what you should do, and instead you'll have that 100% clarity on the best way to build your art business. You'll have removed that risk factor, having done the right research. So you won't be trying this thing over here, trying that, right? You'll have done the research and worked out what you want to achieve. You'll have gained 100% clarity about what you want to do or what you don't want to be selling, right? And how you're going to be doing that. You'll also have chosen that audience and how to reach them so you can start building an all-important relationship over time. You'll have concentrated on the right marketing and sales strategies for you and your audience and avoid flushing all that money and time. And of course, you created a simple blueprint, mind map, plan for you to follow every single day. So what's included in this course? You have 24/7 lifetime access. It's an online course. You have your own unique logins. You can log in whenever you want. And the good thing about having lifetime access is, for example, we've just updated one of the modules in there. So when we do that again, you'll just get the updated version all the time. So as I said, there's those 7 modules plus the bonus pulling it together module. It's around 29 super short lessons. So you can do it in bite-sized bits. You get our beautiful artist business plan template that you can fill in online or print off. You get the artist cash flow template and a video on how to fill it out, folks, and all the money. You get also to use, if you want to, the private Facebook community that you can go in and ask questions if you want to. Now, I'm also going to be doing some lives in there. So you get 2 bonuses when you join this today. So the first bonus is I'm going to be running 4 I have to say that again, Sophie. 4 lives that dive deeper into the content. I was trying to say things twice in one sentence there. So basically, I'm going to take kind of 2 modules at a time and just go a bit deeper into that. So those live trainings are happening in the group. And whenever you're watching that, they've either already happened or about to happen. You'll get all the recordings of all the lives that I ever do, either in the Facebook group. I also upload them into the course. So you'll have extra kind of content and deeper dive into it as well. And then the second bonus is a separate mini training that I'm going to be running live again this probably in this next month, and then will also be uploaded included with the course, and that's called How to Put Your Business Plan into Action. And it walks you through some simple steps of, once you've got the plan, right, and the mindset, how to actually action the plan. Like, how do we do that on a day-by-day basis? So I've made it, so what? Now what do I do? So that little training will actually tell you practically how to actually put your plan into action. So that whole bundle there has a total value: the bonuses, the course, the modules, all the extra trainings and upgrades you're going to get. Total value of around $2,000. Of course, I'm not going to charge you that today. You know that how that goes. So you can grab this course, Build Your Artist Business Plan, for just, in Australian dollars, $97. And that is in British pounds around the 55, 56 pounds. If you're US dollars, it's around 68. But wait, there's a 3-pay. So if you're just starting out and you're like, oh, Sophie, all the dollars, all the pounds are adding up, you can get in from $35 on a 3-pay. So that'll take 3 payments over 3 months. I'm just going to put the link in the comments. I believe there's also a live link below this video as well, but I've just popped it in there. So that takes you direct to the page that gives you all the information again, probably much clearer than I've just spouted it at you. Gives you all again of what's in the course, the bonuses. You've got the choice of paying full or paying on the 3-pay. And like I said, you've lifetime access. Now, what happens if you just think, oh God, okay, I bought the course, but it's not the course I wanted? Then we also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So there is 0 risk for you joining today. You join today, and a week down the line, you're going to go, I learned nothing. Not that we've had anybody ever say that, but you might hate it, right? If you hate it, we won't be offended, and we'll offer you a full money-back guarantee. So we've got that. So just to sum up, this course is perfect for you if you're just starting out as a professional artist and you want to make 100% sure that you're setting things up correctly from the start. It's also perfect for you if you've been trying to sell your work for a while, but somehow nothing is quite working and it's a bit frustrating and you just want to get going. It's also for you if you really, really want to have a successful art business. Now is the moment. 2022 is your year, or 2023 or 2024, whenever you're watching this. You're passionate, motivated, and you're ready to do the work required. Hit the link, take your choice of payment, and we will see you on the other side. If you've got any questions, you can shoot them below this video, or if you want to be, you can send me a private message on Instagram. I hang out over there a lot. So if you want to direct message me and say, I have a question, on that page, you'll also see at the bottom our frequently asked questions. So we've covered a lot of questions that people often have for courses in that page as well. So that's really all I wanted to say. It's a fabulous little course. We love it. We've had really good feedback from people who've taken it. It's been kind of closed off for a year or so at time of recording this, and it just seemed like such a waste to have it sitting there. So we're like, let's refresh it, make it look new and lovely, and let's have it available for anybody and everybody to purchase whenever they want to. So grab the link, shoot over there, get yourself the course, and we'll see you on the other side. I'll say, any questions, just pop below the video or shoot me a DM anywhere. And so thank you so much for investing your time. I really am honored that you spent it with me this morning, this afternoon, this evening, this night, wherever you're watching. This will now stay. This stays on my channel anyway. But I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who stayed on to the end, and wish you all and every success with building your very successful and profitable art business. And I will look forward to seeing you back on this channel as well very, very soon. All right, take care, everybody. Thank you so much for being here.